Hello and a very warm welcome to this week's Scene on 7. I'm Steve Brennan. A very busy programme today and a lot to get through in the next hour. My fellow presenters have been out and about again, uncovering the best and in some cases the worst our area has to offer. Here's a brief selection. Ian. Police File returns this month. Inspector Bob Owen and Nick Wood on the crime beat. Simon Brand visits the Spelthorne Arts Centre. That's not him behind that book, is it? Maidenhead looks beautiful now, but will it with a motorway running through it? We'll find out from Keith Jones.
And I'll be bringing you more sport as usual with Sport on 7. I'll also be telling you a little bit more about why I'm down here with the Crystal Palace Centre of Excellence.
And when Bubba's finished relaxing, she'll be here in the studio to discuss kinesiology, this week's complementary medicine. Also, my guest this week is Peter Robinson, talking crime prevention, and as I said earlier, Patricia Mitchell will be joining us to discuss complementary health. As usual, Andre Maradian has the local sports scene well and truly covered. Regrettably, it has been an especially busy time for the police in our region. More about that coming up, but for now it's our monthly visit to Inspector Bob Owen and Nick Wood at Ashford Police Station with Police File.
Hello, my name's Bob Owen and this month's Police File comes from Ashford Police Station. Have your pens and paper ready, as we have a number of crimes that we'd like your help to solve. First, have you seen this helmet? It was stolen in Egham at the end of last year. It's custom sprayed and only one in the UK. So whose head is it on now? If you recognise the helmet and who uses it, ring us now on 0784 421 409. And PC Reeve from Egham Police will go round and nick them. Do you catch a bus to work about 7 each morning from Woodthorpe Road in Ashford? At the end of last month, a man in his mid-20s wearing a sports anorak and blue jeans indecently exposed himself to a young lady waiting for the bus. Do you know where he lives? Or can you add to our file on him? If so, ring us now on 0784 421 409. Detective Constable Sahi would like to talk to him. And now our regular stolen car slot. The first to go missing is a silver 650 Yamaha motorcycle, NGU 92W, a black Uno Turbo that went from Staines Shopping Centre, F146 NPG, and another from there too, a blue 7 Series BMW 481 NOC. And finally a Ford Sierra 4x4 green in colour E461 YVX. Have you seen these cars or the bike? If so, ring us now on 0784 421 409. And now over to Nick.
Thanks, Bob. If you're a regular viewer, you'll know that thefts from sheds have been a big problem over the last few months. For 3 weeks now in the Ashford area, we've fitted ordinary sheds like this one with electronic alarms which instantly alert a large team of police officers whenever the sheds are broken into. Officers have been waiting nearby, ready to pounce at a moment's notice, and this major operation to fight back against the thieves has paid dividends. A number of people have been arrested in connection with the thefts, and a large amount of stolen property has already been recovered. Following this success, we're planning to continue this method to catch the thieves. So the message is simple. Anyone who carries on stealing from sheds in Ashford will get caught. Now let's have a look at the property which has already been recovered. This is the property that we've recovered. As we move along, you can see that there are 5 lawn mowers, some strimmers at the back there, some golf clubs, a small grinding machine and a large quantity of fishing equipment. There are 2 toolboxes and a couple of welding kits. At the back there are some skis and a small outboard motor, and down at the front some cameras and a small portable stereo unit. All of these items are believed to be stolen. We're still trying to track down the owners for some of the property, so if you recognise any of it, please give us a ring on 0784 421 409. If you'd like a closer look, the property will be on display at the Police Training Centre in Sunbury from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. on Friday the 4th of March. If you need directions or more details, please phone and ask. Now let's go and have a look at one of our community initiatives in action. I'm at St Mary's School in Stanwell, where the drivability course is running during the half-term week. The main organiser is Sergeant Janet Dorey from the community office at Stones Police Station. Janet, you're the organiser of this event. What is this course all about?
It's involving young people and raising their awareness of their responsibilities as road users themselves and towards other road users.
And what are the main areas covered during the day?
Well, there's quite a variety. They have a couple of classroom type projects where they do the highway code, documentation, attitudes towards driving, that sort of thing. And then they come out, as you can see, they do a wheel change, they do controls of vehicles, and at one point they actually get a hands-on driving session in a dual control car in controlled circumstances.
Who is the course aimed at and how do they actually get involved?
Well, we just have 15 and 16-year-olds, and I go to the 9 senior schools in Spelthorne, including the college, and we ask for about 20 from each school. We get a good take-up on it.
Apart from the police, which other organisations are involved in the project?
We have the County Council, the Surrey County Council Casualty Reduction Group, which was the road safety group at one time. They have a big input here. We ourselves as Metropolitan Police, the driving division here are helping out, and we have the Metro Driving School who give their time and vehicles. Also we have the location, St Mary's School, which is given to us. It's funded by the Crime Prevention Panel in Spelthorne.
Hopefully projects like these will make the roads much safer places for young people. Back over to Bob.
Thanks, Nick. And now we need your help to solve a violent robbery that took place on the night of the 13th of February. 2 men robbed the Hazelwood Golf Club and badly injured the late shift employee. That was locking up. Were you in that area? Did you see a car speed off with 2 men? Was one of them taking off a helmet? If so, ring us now on 0784 421 409. And again, we need your help with another violent robbery that took place late on Friday the 18th of February at the Happy Shopper, the Avenue in Sunbury. The assistant was attacked with a claw hammer, and the night's takings were taken. The 2 criminals jumped into the assistant's blue minivan and abandoned it nearby. Were you nearby? Did you see anything? If so, ring 0784 421 409 now. As we come to the end of this police file, a reminder of local traffic congestion. You must have noticed the A30 from junction 13 towards London is under repair, and it will be for several months. So if you don't want to queue in the rush hour, or your lorry weighs more than 7.5 tonnes, use the diversion via junction 14. Some nights the A30 will be closed completely, and don't forget the 40-mile-an-hour speed limit. Over the coming months, we'll be following the progress of a joint Metropolitan Police Surrey County Council entry in the Tall Ships Race. This will offer young people in the area the opportunity to spend a week on a training vessel during the summer holidays. Unfortunately, these projects are expensive, so if you, your employer or your business would like to be interested in sponsoring a local participant, please contact us for further details on 0784 421 409. That's all from Nick and myself, and Nick, I think, is hiding in a shed somewhere. OK, Nick, come on out. Goodbye for now.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you, Nick. The amount of burglaries and the items that thieves will steal, apparently, will never cease to amaze me. Either they're very keen gardeners or there's some serious money in second-hand flymos. Please let us know. Let's hope the initiatives work and that all the tow rags are caught. Still in Spelthorne, the borough's council has for some time been visiting local schools, educating children on the subject of recycling. 10 schools have received collection banks for textiles and 5 further schools have banks for recycling books. It is hoped to add drink can recycling centres as soon as possible. Spelthorne Council has enlisted the help of Oxfam in this venture, and they're very grateful to them. The donated books and clothing can therefore be sold in Oxfam shops to raise money for overseas programmes, as well as increase the awareness of children in environmental issues. If you'd like more details of the scheme, the Council can advise and arrange for talks in schools or with local groups. You should in the first instance telephone Paul Marshall. He's the Client Services Officer for the Spelthorne Council. His telephone number is 0784 446 339. That's 0784 446 339. And well done, Spelthorne. This is fast becoming Spelthorne on 7 this week. One of the borough's favourite sons, Simon Brandt, has been to visit the new improved arts centre. But was it worth the trip? Let's find out.
Yes, we've come along to Staines, where we're here to witness the opening of a new £1 million arts centre, that being the Old Town Hall Arts Centre here in the Market Square, Staines. Those more observant at 6 o'clock in the morning than me may actually recognise this building because WMtv used it in its opening titles. Anyway, let's go in and find out what you might expect to see if you pay a visit. With me is Julie Wilson, the marketing manager here at the Old Town Hall Arts Centre in Staines. Julie, what does your job actually entail?
Well, my job is to make sure as many people as possible know about the Arts Centre. That means all kinds of groups, children's groups, social clubs and so on, and individuals, and to get them to come along and use what is just a terrific resource in the community.
I mean, the response on this open day has been very good from what I can see already. The box office is certainly very busy.
Yes, yes.
In terms of ticket prices, what can people expect to have to pay?
Well, our ticket prices are very, very reasonable. For example, a theatre show would be about £7.50, which is obviously very good, especially if you compare it to West End prices. But on top of that, we do very, very good concessions, which average about a third off.
Before we start, let's all shake our hands above our heads as hard as we can. That's it. Really shake them hard. Did you see something just then? A what? A pig? Are you sure? Oh. Hello.
Most of our work is done in small art centres, small theatres, schools, playgroups. So for a new art centre to be opening is remarkable in this day and age, and it's very welcome because we do a lot of our work in them. And it's a sort of venue that a local community uses all the time. To travel to a theatre can take a long time, it can be very expensive. To go to a local art centre, it's on your doorstep, it's easy to bring the children over for an hour and a half.
He says it needs some flowers. And some sausage. What a great idea. An orange flower. And a yellow flower.
Richard, thank you very much for joining us. You are the artistic programmer for the Old Town Hall Arts Centre. What does your job entail?
Basically, my job entails booking all the acts into the centre, which is all the acts across the board, from dance and theatre to children's events and music, of course. Also, my job will entail starting up a youth theatre down here, which we'll be looking into over the summer, and our own in-house productions, which we actually start today. We have our own professional company, Mixed Bag Theatre Company, doing Desert Island Blues today, and we'll be doing the Christmas show here, which will be an adaptation of Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol, and it'll be my job to direct that.
Yeah, brilliant. How difficult has it been to sort of resource the sort of acts that people in the Spelthorne area will actually want to come and see?
Well, it's been, I mean, our conscious decision has been more or less to try and make sure that in our first couple of seasons there's something for everybody. It's obviously a bit of an exploratory time for us. We have to see what's going to sell, what's going to be popular, and frankly what isn't. And therefore, you know, sometimes we're going to have a great house and sometimes it's not going to be too good, and we've just got to be prepared
to see that and to monitor that and say, okay, well, for the next season we'll forget that and we'll put more in that people like.
Liz, you are the manager of the Old Town Arts Centre. Somewhat unique in that you were actually appointed a couple of years ago, even before the Arts Centre was actually built. How did you feel about taking on that job?
Well, at the time I didn't realise that I was going to probably be the only Arts Centre manager in the country without an Arts Centre to manage. We actually had planned to open 3 months after I started in March '92, but because of the extent of work that we needed to do to the building, it took a lot longer. It's taken about 18 months altogether.
18 months.
But in that time, we've made a lot of decisions to increase the size of the building, especially by extending the cellar bar. So I've been sort of...
for that.
Yeah, I mean, it's been well worth it, as you can see from today. But I've been sort of helping to design the building and actually been in on the design team, which has been great because it's meant that we can have a sort of a managerial point of view from how the building's going to run when we actually designed it.
How does it feel now, all the pieces of the jigsaw put together?
A bit shell-shocked, actually. I mean, it's been fantastic today. We've been really busy. Everyone's been really thrilled. We've had some wonderful comments from people, you know, especially people who have known the building for so long. And I said, I was here 70 years ago and now it's looking really wonderful, and that's great, you know, it's really good.
Brilliant. Mary, you're one of the hardcore volunteers here at the Arts Centre. How much time are you going to have to put in?
Well, I expect to do once a week and do something like an afternoon or an evening, maybe help out in the mornings. I'm quite willing to do anything.
What sort of things are you going to be expecting?
Well, I can expect to do usheretting, selling programmes at the front of house side, or in the cafe and bar. I can expect to clear the tables, do the serving, anything on that line. As far as publicity is concerned, we have quite a few jobs on that side, which is putting out leaflets around the local shops. I've already done that, putting out the brochures and things in my local area. And we also need people up in the office to put things in envelopes because we hope to have a big mailing list and get people interested.
If someone wanted to join your merry band, is there a number that they can phone?
Yes, there's a number here which is 0784 461 565.
Well, I hope you have great fun and no doubt see you again soon.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for joining.
Thank you.
Right, there we go, folks. I declare this establishment well and truly open. Here's the Art Centre, and here's to all of you. Cheers. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you. Cheers.
I'm not sure we can have mayors of Spelthorne drinking pints on television, but we're only jealous. Looks like fun. Not Simon, I mean the Arts Centre. And if you'd like to become a volunteer at the Spelthorne Arts Centre, please telephone for more information on 0784 461, I'll get it right, 0784 461 565. That's 0784 461 565. The 18th Annual Clean Food Awards are to be presented on the 6th of April. The awards relate to restaurants, pubs and clubs in the Windsor and Maidenhead area, and if you'd like to know which are the best, cleanest and most outstanding food venues, you'll be able to do just that. Contact Terry Gould, who is the Head of Environmental Health. His hotline phone number is 0628 796 561, 0628 796 561. Time now for a quick break. Join me after that, along with my guest, Peter Robinson. We may be able to help you prevent crime. You're watching Scene on 7 from WMtv.
For your holiday away from the crowds, our 9-bedroom villa has its own swimming pool, tennis court and billiards room, and is available for room or whole villa rental. Situated on the Portuguese west coast, 3 minutes from the beach, with 3 golf courses within 40 minutes drive. And of course, there's the renowned Portuguese food. For brochure or video, call Eaton Travel on 0753 671747.
Ideal Home Superstore. Whatever you're looking for to furnish your house, look no further than the
Ideal Home Superstore.
Within our giant store on the Bath Road, Sippenham, the choice just has to be seen to be believed. With interest-free credit on some items, this is the ideal place. And don't forget the South East's biggest furniture sale begins on the 27th of December. 388 to 389 Bath Road, just off Junction 7. It's the ideal
Superstore.
Welcome back. You've heard how crime has wrecked lives and caused misery, and I'm afraid you're going to hear even more soon. But there may be a bright side and a glimmer of hope. Together we'll crack it is the catchphrase which heightens awareness and encourages the public to help police. Peter Robinson is my guest, and he may have the answer. Peter, welcome to the studio.
Evening, Steve.
You're the Crime Prevention Officer at West Drayton Police Station.
I am.
Crime prevention's a pretty broad subject, of course. Which crimes would you say are easiest to prevent?
Certainly those which are created by people being relaxed in their approach to their own protection, but mainly those committed by the opportunist.
So there's kind of a cycle of events that occur before a crime takes place, and if you can break one of those, that's how it all falls apart.
Precisely. You have the property or person, you have the culprit, and you have the opportunity. Take away any one of those three, and the crime cannot take place.
Right. Percentage-wise, is crime higher related to property or to people?
Percentage-wise, far higher to property, but of course property is owned, and therefore it is very much affecting the public. A burglary, people will feel very much abused that somebody's been in their home, somebody's stealing their car, the person who loses it is very aggrieved, and so it just goes on and on.
On the subject of burglary from a private house, I've been a victim myself, I'm afraid to say, and it is a very, very distressing thing. I mean, I must say it took me about a year to get over it. Would you say that the bulk of burglaries are caused, or rather relate to people who haven't previously consulted a crime prevention officer?
The vast majority would be, because generally members of the public are not aware of the facility run by all police forces, not just the Metropolitan Police Force, of the facility of having an officer come round to check the security of your home.
Which is a service offered by the police and is completely free of charge.
Yes, it is. In the past it has been carried out by crime prevention officers, but the police policy has changed considerably, and for basic security advice this can be dealt with by the local bobby, the beat officer.
So therefore would you say that, for example, the bulk of domestic burglaries are preventable?
Certainly, yes. The vast majority of burglaries to the average home in which you and I will live are perpetrated by the opportunist, who looks for the easy opportunity to get in and out unnoticed as quickly as he can, taking cash and easy movable items.
It doesn't always, of course, relate to burglaries from homes. It could be something as simple as a bicycle. Here's the latest COI film to tell you more about it.
Every day, thousands of cyclists have to walk to work, to school, or to play because they didn't lock up their bike properly. Always secure your bike to something immovable and get your postcode marked on the frame, or you're in for a long walk home. Crime. Together, we'll crack it.
So, it is relatively simple to prevent crime.
Very.
Let's hope the public who are watching today can possibly help. Would you say that cost is a factor in people preventing crime to their own property and perhaps their own home or their cars? For example, the cost of additional locks and personal security item.
I think at first they view them as expensive, but really they are not. It is more a case of apathy that it won't really happen to me. I don't expect anyone will steal my car. I don't think anyone will assault me. I don't think anyone will break into my home. So it's not so much the cost, it is really apathy from the person thinking that it won't happen to them, so they don't do anything about it.
What about property marking, for example, Peter? Property marking is a service offered by whom? How much does it cost?
Property marking is generally something that you can do yourself, although the police stations do operate a system by which they will mark, shall we say, bicycles, so they will stamp them. But items of your own, there are ways which you can stamp them into, stamp your postcode and your house number into items, or you can mark them with an ultraviolet pen. Any method by which you can put your postcode and house number onto property, if it is then recovered by police, it can be returned to you.
And of course that will help the police track the owner down of the items that are recovered, hopefully.
Yes, that's correct. At the moment there's an Operation Bumblebee, which you must have heard about.
Yeah.
And a very large slice of that operation is the recovery of property and the returning of that property to the owner.
And there's Bumblebee roadshows in and around the area from time to time where you can go and view it.
There are.
Finally, Peter, just before we have to go, I'm afraid, if we don't manage to crack crime, how can we catch the burglars? For example, I'm thinking specifically of Crime Stoppers.
Crime Stoppers is very good. I think the programme which you showed earlier, the police file, I thought that was very good, and that is a way by which people can give information through to the police inspector that was talking. But often people don't wish to be identified. To give information to Crime Stoppers, they don't have to give their name, they don't have to give their telephone number or address. But police will take that information and they will work upon it.
And they could get a Community Action Trust award.
They can, yes.
If you don't know the number of Crime Stoppers, the number is 0800 555 111. That's 0800 555 111. Your call is free and you don't have to give your name. Peter, thank you very much indeed for coming in. I know you're busy.
Thank you, Steve.
And we'll let you go now.
Thank you very much.
Thanks
Bye.
a lot. That was going to be the only item included in this week's update. However, when I came into the office this week to prepare the programme, details began to emerge of a horrific murder in Slough. At approximately 5 a.m. on Thursday, March the 3rd, a young man was found dead in Brunel bus station. That's in Slough. An incident room was set up at Slough Police Station, and Detective Superintendent Jeff Allcraft took charge of the investigation. A post-mortem was arranged, and the cause of death established later to be stab wounds to the head and neck. Things moved surprisingly quickly, and 2 men and a woman were later arrested in connection with the murder. 1 man and the woman were subsequently released. Police are appealing for witnesses, so if you were in the vicinity between midnight on the 2nd of March and 5 a.m. on the 3rd of March, and you feel you could help, please call Slough Police Station on 0753 50 6000. That's 0753 50 6000. Please ask for the incident room, and of course, strictest confidence will be observed. That number will also be available on the Moving Magazine service 24 hours a day. Please help. The proposed changes to the motorway systems locally have caused outrage. Among the concerns raised by this issue are some of the historic sites which may be blighted by the plans. Continuing his detailed reports on this very subject is Mr. Keith Jones. Here's this week's Freeway.
Continuing my investigation into the proposed 12-lane extension of the M4, that's from Junction 5 in Langley up to Junction 8-9 in Maidenhead. Obviously there are many different views and perspectives, and today we're looking at the history of the area. I met up with local historian and archaeologist Luke Over to find out the implications the development will have on the important historical sites. Luke, you've brought me to the local area known as the Cut, and that's just off the Braywick roundabout spur. Now, what was this called at medieval times, or before it was called the Cut to local people?
Well, this was this whole area and landscape here was known as the Shaffle Moor.
Right.
The Cut is a more recent name, you know, which is only the extension of the Shaffle Moor stream into the Thames. But at one time, this was an extremely boggy area.
Yeah.
So it has preserved any remains that actually lie here.
And how far does the history go back for this particular area?
Well, when they were actually building the motorway around 1970, we thought some sites were in danger here, so we actually excavated up, just further up ahead of us, a Middle Stone Age site.
Right, that's just up here between these 2 trees, is it?
Well, yes, it's just by that second tree on the right. and this actually dates back to 8,400 BC. Really? So it's at a time when hunter fishermen were living here. Yeah. They were men who really lived on the edge of streams, and they made their implements from stone and flint.
So they'd have used this stream, would they, at that time?
Yes.
This would have been a bigger stream, would it?
Well, we have to assume that this particular stream was here, but it might have been wider because of the various ice ages that took place at that time.
Right, I see.
But they were using it to catch fish, and these small stone implements, of which we found nearly 10,000 on the site, were actually used for hafting and spearing fish.
Right. Then moving up through the generations, what was the next find?
Well, while we were actually excavating that particular site, we put another box in, as we would do archaeologically, and before we reached the Middle Stone Age layers, we came across part of a few Saxon houses.
Now, what's your feeling really about the motorway? Because a lot of the new motorway is actually going to go across this site. I mean, you must have a constant battle, because it's not just motorways, there's housing developments and all sorts going up in this particular area.
That's very true.
So what is your feeling on the motorway extension?
Well, obviously, if it's going to be some sort of spaghetti junction, and I believe it's going to go off into the Hollyport direction, you know, it is going to destroy quite a lot of the early history of the area.
Right, this isn't the only area that you're worried about, is it? There's other areas as well.
Oh, yes. Okay. Yes, because the 12-lane motorways, I was going to, excuse me, go right the way along towards Windsor, and there's numerous sites along there which are going to be destroyed, you know.
Okay. Well, let's go and have a look at some of those then, shall we?
Yes, by all means, yes.
Luke, you've brought me down to the side of the River Thames. We've got Braylock in front of us and the motorway just behind. You're just telling me a story about the letter EY in local place names. What, can you just remind me of that again?
Yes, when you get the suffix EY in the name of a place, it means an island. It's short for IOT, really. And so places like Dorey and Bobony were originally islands in this area. And even places like Eton, which was originally EYTON, that also was an island, and Egham, EG.
Presumably Monkey Island has nothing to do with monkeys at all. It's the Monk's Island, is it?
That's correct, yes. That's exactly how it got its name. It was a Monk's Island, and the monks concerned actually live in this house behind us now.
So what is the house then?
This house is called Amerden Priory, and it's called that because in the early days it was associated with the monks of Merton Priory. They had a cell here which was founded in the year 1197, and even before that it was owned at Doomsday by Stigand, the Archbishop of Canterbury, at that time, so it has these early associations. But it is the earliest manor house in Taplow. The others are Cliveden and those sort of places. But so it's got quite a long history, and it's a moated site. It has 13th century timbers in the roof. Right. So you can actually see that the building is very old. In later history, in 1910, for instance, the first helicopter in Britain was developed in the garden here. Yes,
right
with a gyrocopter. Never got off the ground. Yes. I'll excuse a pun, but it was developed here, and in later years it was owned by Margot Fontaine, the ballerina.
But of course, the motorway is very close already, and obviously when that becomes 12 lanes, that's going to make quite a considerable difference to this area, isn't it?
Oh, yes, yes. I mean, obviously the work's going to come right down here towards the house, and it may destroy part of the original moat which went round the building, and there may even be a burial place for the monks there. So it is possible it's going to destroy something, you know, unless it's looked at before the motorway takes place, of course.
Luke, it's been fascinating talking to you today. I've learned so much. Can we rearrange another appointment and say in 2 or 3 months' time we can look at another site?
Yes, by all means, anywhere you like.
Come on to show me Monkey Island.
Right, let's go and have a look at it.
Fascinating stuff. Does the phrase "you don't know what you've got till it's gone" mean anything to you? Thank you, Keith. Now for the news that is sport and the sport that is news. At 24 minutes to the hour, here's Andre and Sport on 7. Andre.
Thank you very much indeed, Steve. This week, Sport on 7 have absolutely nothing to report concerning Slough Town. Hooray! As their next match in the Vauxhall Conference against Yeovil is not until next week, and their last match was postponed due to a waterlogged pitch on a perfectly dry, sunny day. Enough said about that. No doubt we'll have something to say next week. Although the local press, as always, have plenty of features covering their current fortunes if you want to keep up with them. Anyway, let's have a look at the sport from the region this week. Still with football, and Windsor and Eton took a beating this week away to Barking. In fact, Windsor boss John Clements was so disappointed with his team's performance that he has subsequently fired 3 team members. A bit drastic maybe, but then who are we to pass judgment? But if it terrifies his team into playing better, then it has to be worth a try. Elsewhere, Burnham went down 5-3 to Tunbridge in an excellent Beezer Homes League match last week. Hayes midfielder Tony Kelly gets this week's Sport on 7 slap on the legs for getting banned for 10 matches after appearing before the FA due to his terrible disciplinary record. This leaves Hayes with a weakened side with only 11 matches left in this season's Diodora Premier League. Whilst he's not playing, Kelly will apparently be filming a video with Wimbledon's Vinnie Jones about etiquette, table manners and general deportment. Hillingdon Borough beat Brimsdown 2-0 in a Spartan League match in which striker Steve Walker could easily have scored a hat-trick, thereby clinching 3 important points. The athletics season is almost upon us, but cross-country, that most gruelling, muddy and generally unpleasant sport, is still going on. And recently, Windsor and Eton Athletics Club took most of the top honours at the final Chiltern League meeting. Club member Joel Hyde took the overall title, whilst his brother Tim took silver. Fellow runner Doug Compton took a gold in the Northwood race, and the ladies also had some excellent results, with Alison Bathy, I hope I pronounced that right, winning gold in the ladies' event, and Pauline Siddons taking the vets title. For those of you who don't know, by the way, a vet, in athletics terms, is someone over 35, not someone who makes animals better. Elliot Hankins also took a gold in the boys' section as well. Now, we haven't mentioned ice hockey for a while, and with my vague, passing interest in winter sport, I feel this is an admission worth correcting. The Slough Jets beat Telford Tigers 8-5 recently, finally ending the Tigers' 10-match unbeaten run. This took place at the Hangar. But they then went on to draw with the Romford Raiders, in fact, in Romford. This was always going to be a tough match, as the local support in Romford is very strong, so this is a really good result for them. I am hoping to get along to the Hangar with the crew to talk to some of the Jets, and also watch them in action, so please do keep watching. Right, now I've been out and about this week. In fact, I went along to Bracknell Sports Centre to talk with a chap called Andy Ritchie and a few of his footballing protégés from the area about the Crystal Palace Centre of Excellence, of which he is a director. The Centre of Excellence is a training school set up to find the cream of local footballing talent, train them and hopefully prepare them for a career in a professional game, and maybe even sign them up to play for Crystal Palace. Here's how I got on. Today I've come down to the Crystal Palace Centre of Excellence, which is based in our area, to find out what makes these school children so special and how quickly they can go and work for a professional club, such as Crystal Palace. I'm here with Andy Ritchie, who is the director of the Crystal Palace Centres of Excellence. Andy, can you tell us a little bit more about what you're actually trying to do here with these kids?
Yeah, we're basically trying to produce some quality players for Crystal Palace. They sponsor the centre, and in their wisdom have chosen, I think, a very, very good competitive area, i.e. Bracknell, which gives us the catchment area of Slough and Basingstoke and Reading, Egham, places like that. Obviously Bracknell and Ascot itself, and we think there's some real talent around here, and we're basically working with that local talent and looking to produce some first-class players for Crystal Palace.
What sort of ages do you take the children from?
Well, you're allowed to take them from under 9 until under 14 at a Centre of Excellence, and then you normally have a group, an associate schoolboy group, which is a group of 15 and 16-year-olds. But you can take them from 8 or 9 years old.
Right. How many children do you think will actually make the grade? How many do you think will actually finally be good enough to play for a club such as Crystal Palace?
I couldn't give you a number. Obviously, the better centres are going to produce more than other centres. We're supposed to be coaching the same things, but you know, you never know. But if our coaching styles are conducive with how the kids want to learn, and if they enjoy it, then you know, I think your chances are increased a little bit. But out of a group of 15 per age group, I mean, if we got three players into an associate schoolboy, of which there are 30 per club, and that's between two big age spans, from 14 until they leave school.
Right.
Then you've done quite well, really.
Yeah, that's
because
pretty good.
We're hopefully looking at a Premier League side next year.
Absolutely. Any name players that have come out of the centres of coaching as yet?
Well, I'm actually speaking to lads tonight, and some of them have got the possibility of taking a YTS.
Excellent.
It's that time of the year now.
Right.
We've had 2 signed on from this centre in the past. We've been running 5 years now. But Crystal Palace as a club, I think, really is second to none in terms of youth development. John Solarco, the captain at the moment, Gareth Southgate. And actually 7 of the first team currently came from the Crystal Palace Centres of Excellence system.
Well, we're going to get out and have a chat to a couple of the young lads tonight, and might even kick a few balls myself and see if I can get into Crystal Palace. For the moment, Andy, thank you very much indeed. Right, we have here with us 2 local lads from the area, being John and John, which makes life a bit easier for us. Tell us, are you enjoying the coaching here with the Crystal Palace guys?
Yeah, very good fun. We're having a good time here.
How about you, John?
Yeah, it's very interesting. It gives me good practice.
Do you think your football skills are improving now, but having been down here for a while?
Yeah, a lot.
Right.
Yeah.
How old are you guys?
I'm 11, coming up 12. Yeah, same here.
Right. So you'll be doing this for a few more years yet?
Hopefully.
Yeah. I take it you'd like to be professional footballers when you finish?
Yeah, definitely, love to.
Well, we wish you all the very best of luck. Hopefully we'll see you in action a bit later, but for the moment, thanks very much.
Thank you.
I must say, the skill of those kids was absolutely fantastic. I had intended to kick a few balls with them, but I know when I'm totally outclassed. Getting onto the training scheme is not as easy, as selection is usually done by talent scouts visiting local schools and club games. But Andy did ask me to mention that if there are any local club managers who feel they have a player who has the ability, the skills, the right attitude and an enormous appetite for the game, then they should contact him on 0734 691 295. That's 0734 691 295. But don't phone him until August, as the trials won't take place until September. The trials are for children who will be under 9 in August. Having said that, if there are any 9 to 14-year-olds out there with those special footballing qualities, then please do call, as sometimes a good player or two can slip through the net. Pardon the pun. Finally from me this week, if there is anyone out there who is running an event, a competition, or just has an interesting story they would like us to cover, then please do contact us at the address and phone number that Steve always reads out so beautifully at the end of the show. And you do, Steve.
Thank you, Andre. You got the sport well and truly sussed this week. Now then.
Yes, go on.
Our chat. We always have a chat at this point in the programme.
It's the highlight of the...
highlight of the sporting week for you last week was obviously the end of Lillehammer.
Lillehammer, yeah.
Just finished now. We can stop doing the joke. But we were going to talk football and a world-class performance.
Manchester United. Absolutely fantastic, wasn't it?
Coca-Cola Cup semi-final?
Coca-Cola semi-final. There, Coca-Cola Cup. Coca-Cola Cup semi-final.
Nearly.
We'll try that one again, shall we?
Yeah, go on then.
Coca-Cola Cup semi-final.
Absolutely.
Going to be meeting Sheffield Wednesday in, I believe, a couple of weeks' time. But for those of you who saw the match, it was a demonstration of exhibition football. It was wonderful. Even without Cantona, it was superb.
And you're still sticking to your guns?
Still sticking to my treble.
Man United for the Cup,
the
League,
Cup, and the League.
And the FA Cup.
Absolutely.
Well, I'm going to have a 5 with you on that because Chelsea are going to win the FA Cup this year.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Glenn Hoddle's name is written all over it.
Well, Glenn's a good player.
Thanks a lot, mate. More sport next week. If you are taking sport, you need to be fit and healthy, and Barbara Mitchell continues her search for complementary health and talks to the experts. This time around, it's kinesiology.
Steve, and following the theme of complementary health, today we're at the treatment centre and home of Sue Vaughan, who's a holistic practitioner. Now, Sue, as a holistic practitioner, you also use kinesiology as a way of diagnosing various symptoms. Perhaps you could tell us about that.
Well, kinesiology, it takes the guesswork out of my practice, because you can, you're using a strong muscle to test whether there's any deficiencies, you know, dysfunctions, anything like that. I mean, when somebody comes in, they give you various symptoms, and you think, well, you know, it could be this, it could be that. And with kinesiology, it will tell you what is happening in the body right now. You know, sort of, whereas iridology for me, it was, there's tendencies there. There may be inherited weaknesses, and you know what.
Can you explain what iridology is?
It's study of the irises, diagnosis with the study of the iris. But for me, I mean, I stick with kinesiology. It's very reliable, you know. But and you can, especially when if I'm doing a manipulation, for instance, fixing a hiatal hernia or something, I can sort of test to see whether the hiatal hernia is there, do the manipulation, fix it, and then test to see whether the manipulation has worked. Again with, you know, the ileocecal valve, which is the main, you know, sort of problem with irritable bowel. Fix it, test to see whether it's fixed. And then with the allergies, you sort of like test to see what the allergy is, then use the technique, which is, you know, sort of tapping on various acupuncture points down the body to clear it. And then you retest to see whether you've actually cleared it or not. So you don't have to guess anything. You can test for the dosage of the tablets. You know, and as I say, most doctors, well, 60% of doctors in the States now use it because it's very reliable diagnosis.
Right. You'll actually be using me as a guinea pig later on to show people actually how it works. But with us here, we've also got Peter with her little girl, Amy. Now, Peter actually came to you some time ago with a problem. Perhaps, Peter, you could tell us exactly why you came to Sue and what actually happened when you came here.
We've been trying for a baby for about 5 years, and through a mutual friend of Sue's, suggested that I come and see Sue to try and relax. And she did the kinesiology technique on me, and we actually found that my pituitary gland wasn't working as it should be. So she prescribed some raw pituitary extract tablets, which I started to take. We also addressed various other problems that I had on the psychological problems. And within a very short time, I can actually conceive with Amy.
And there we have living proof of how kinesiology can help, quite literally. Thank you very much for talking to us today. Well, Sue, probably be the right time to move into your treatment room and see how it actually works.
Come in and take a seat. Okay, so what are the main health problems that you have?
Nothing, I don't really have a problem as such, it's just lethargy, incredible lethargy.
Do you get more of the tiredness in the morning, or is it, and get better through the day, or is it worse in the evening? What kind of times do you find?
The worst time is in the morning, but I find it very difficult to get up, and like today, for example, I just feel very, very tired, and as time's going on, I'm getting, you know, I'm getting my energy. But to start off with, I feel very lethargic.
Do you get any food cravings at all?
Well, I have to have my cereal in the morning. I can't almost do anything until I've had food in the morning. And I don't know whether that's emotional. I don't feel hungry. I just feel like I've got to, you know, I need food in the morning. And, but I am quite controlling with my food. I don't, I'm on a diet, I suppose, most of the time. Yeah.
Do you get any problems with digestion?
Well, I think that's why I have my cereal in the morning, all bran usually. So, yeah, I suppose I have had digestive problems in the past. They seem to have got better. I can't eat too much red meat. And I do know that I sort of tend to hold things. I get sort of I get sort of quite sort of bunged up sometimes. Yeah.
Right. So you've got that more or less in control, really.
Yes, by the diet that I have, by having this sort of, you know, bran and that a lot, yeah, it does help that a lot. If I get at all anxious, that's where I tend to sort of like feel it.
Any bloating after meals at all?
Yes, I can do. Yeah, I know that I tend to, it sits there sometimes for a bit longer than I'd like it to. Yeah.
And any problems with headaches?
No, not really. No, every now and again, but nothing unusual.
Any backaches?
Yeah, I've had back problems. Usually around the time of my period, I get back problems in my lower back, and I have had bad backs throughout the last sort of 5, 6 years.
Okay, let's check you out on the couch now. So I'm going to use this as an indicator muscle. Get that nice and straight. And when I pull this way, just push back towards that wall. So push back. That's good. And let's just see if it turns off down the centre meridian and push back again. That's good. And push back. Right, now I've got a on-off switch to test with. All right. So I'm just going to use this test kit there. Put that there. And just run through. I'm going to put these things in this hand.
Right.
So let's just go through that. And hold on to that and push back. Good.
Now what exactly are you testing?
That was testing for thyroid, that.
Right.
And push back. Let's lift up. And push back.
What was that one?
Gallbladder.
Right.
And I'm going to test the spleen because that's often responsible for anemia. Push back. And tiredness, so it's not too much. And pancreas. Push back. Fine. Testing. And mouse intestine.
Maybe there's something wrong with me.
We've got a valve out.
I really want it
here.
Yeah, I do.
A bit across your waistband sometimes.
Very much, Sue. It's wonderful. Well, it's back to the studio and Steve, and while I'm here, I'm going to rest my adrenals and take advantage of this rather comfortable couch.
You've seen Sleeping Beauty before, haven't you? Well, she's awake now and she's here. Hi, Bobber.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm very well, actually.
Well, you must be after all that. Did it feel good? Yeah, I know. Hilarity's broken out.
I've got the giggles
it's
today.
that time
I've got the
again,
giggles.
isn't it?
Sorry.
Okay,
Yeah.
should we start again?
Let's start again.
You've seen Sleeping Beauty before, and she's back here in the studio now. Hi, Bobber.
Hello, darling.
Hello, darling. Right, tell me all about kinesiology.
Yes, it's quite difficult to explain, actually. It's based on resistance, and that if you're holding something that you're either allergic to in one hand or that you've got an imbalance in your system, all your muscles won't be able to react to it in the way that they should. So you're weak in that area, and that's how they diagnose what's wrong with you.
So in the beginning of the film, when she was holding your arm up, you genuinely couldn't resist the sort of push.
It was hysterical, actually, because I pride myself on being sort of a strong swimmer and having sort of strong arms and everything. And she was sort of like saying, okay, and then you push, and I had my arm up, and I was trying to resist her, and it was okay for the first couple of goes. And then she put something in my hand, which I think was sort of adrenal gland, or what represented adrenal glands in my hand. And I couldn't do anything about it. My hand just went, ooh. I mean, I was really very surprised. I was very taken aback by it.
What was in the little files that she was it actually samples of what?
Toad's liver.
Really? Was it really that bad?
I'm really joking.
No, I saw mucus and anxiety written on the bottle. I thought, how do you bottle anxiety?
There's one with cat's hair in it, and there'll be one with sort of vitamin C,
really?
And yeah.
I understand they're even thinking about this for kinesiologists treat or look at ways of preventing epilepsy. apparently.
Well, what they can do, which is incredible, is that they can, in fact, 60% of doctors in the US use kinesiology to diagnose what's wrong with people. And what they can do is, by using homeopathic treatment, once they've actually diagnosed what the problem is, they can actually cure lots of things like eczema, like epilepsy, things that a lot of the times conventional medicine can't get to the bottom of. They can treat with kinesiology-based diagnosis.
Is kinesiology in particular and complementary medicine in general crossing over now into the mainstream with general practitioners? Are they recommending each other sort of thing? Are they working in harmony?
Definitely, definitely. I mean, there's certain, you can even get some complementary, I've always had this problem, complementary medicine on Bupa. You can get acupuncture, you can get homeopathy, all sorts of things. You can actually start getting on Bupa now as well, and all the private medicine schemes. So, yes, it is definitely crossing over.
If you wanted to find a kinesiologist, would you look in the Yellow Pages?
You could try. Yeah. Your better bet would be actually to look in, for this area anyway, the Mid-Thames Complementary Health Network brochure, which I've written up about in the Moving magazine, and you can actually get from health stores for £1 or from alternative or complementary practitioners themselves. They sell it for £1, and therein is all the people that are practicing holistic medicine in the area, yeah.
Would it, I mean, this series is referring to lots of different types of complementary medicine. Mm-hmm. How well do they mix and match?
I think it's up to the individual, really, to decide what best suits them. For example, on a personal note, I have massage and reflexology. And sometimes if I want something in addition to that, I might look at acupuncture. Why are you grinning at me like that?
I just felt like it. I was just smiling.
Good. And I also have acupuncture and some other... I think everybody's got to find the method that they feel most comfortable with, really, because there's a lot out there.
And on the subject of there being a lot of them out there, what other subjects are you going to be covering in this interesting and stimulating series, Bubba? It says here.
Why do I get the feeling that you...
No, I'm not. I'm dead serious. I think it is interesting. I must admit, when we first mooted the idea of this being a series that you were going to cover, I think a lot of us, including you maybe, had reservations about how interesting it would be. And it is proving to be very, very interesting, with the exception of the fluffy pink towel. But it is proving to be very, very interesting. And it was a genuine question. What other areas are you going to cover?
Well, no, we're covering acupuncture next week. And I think Will Kinder is going out and doing, oh gosh, what's he doing? He's doing something, hypnotherapy the week after. And we're looking into art therapy. And it is very interesting because I've stuck close very much to the practices that I'm used to. Kinesiology was a new one on me, and that was exceedingly interesting. I was flabbergasted at how well that worked. So.
And details about the kinesiology and the other types of complementary medicine, all on the Moving magazine?
All on the Moving magazine, yes.
Great. Thank you very much. We'll see you soon. Splendid. Thank you, Bubba. And also to my guest, Peter Robinson, the Crime Prevention Officer who was here earlier, and all the team here at WMTV. Next week, your Mother's Day messages will be right here on the programme, so make sure you are as well. If you'd like details of any of the items in this week's programme, if you have any suggestions regarding Scene on 7 or the 24-hour Moving magazine service, please write to us at Scene on 7, WMTV, P.O. Box 7, Slough SL3, 6ET. That's about it for this week. Let's hope for a brighter, happier news programme style thingy. What's it next week? Until then, from WMTV and Scene on 7, I'm Steve Brennan. See you soon. Bye-bye.